everyone. Welcome to our show. I am your host, Misty Doan, and I'm so grateful to be joined by the wonderful Courtenay Hughes. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Courtenay works on our sewing team here at Missouri Star. She's a fabulous quilter and a wonderful asset to our team, and she was kind enough to join me to teach this little apron that I'm wearing today. This is called the Flower Flirt apron. It was actually designed by my sister-in-law, Hillary. And fun fact, this is me on the cover years and years ago when Missouri Star first started. Hillary designed this apron for us, and I sat in Jenny and Ron's backyard and we did a little photo shoot, and
that's so fun.
There it is still today. So yeah, so we decided, you know, we haven't talked about this apron in a long time. It's really quick and easy, deceivingly easy. I think it looks a little tricky, and then it comes together really quick. So we're going to walk you through how to make this, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's a great time to make aprons and things for gifts. So, you know, let's get started.
Okay.
All right, so to make this project, you're going to need 4 half-yard cuts. This is actually reversible. So you can see there's a different fabric, yes, on the back. And so you're going to use 2 of those contrasting prints on the front and 2 of them on the back. You're also going to need a 1/4 yard of accent fabric for the straps and the little ruffle at the top. So keep that in mind. And another little fun fact, in the pattern it actually includes a child size version as well. So it'll give you the directions for that in there. So this one I'm wearing is in Christmas, and you can get a link to this fabric in the description below.
That's right.
But we are using this really cute collection called Joy in the Journey by Danny Mogstad for Riley Blake Designs to make this next one we want to show you. So Court, you want to dive right in and tell us how to get started?
Sure. The first thing you're going to do is take your 4 1/2 yard cuts, and you're going to cut them into 3 6-inch pieces.
Okay, so you'll have to be pretty careful. Make sure you have a full half yard, because you need that whole thing. Okay.
Yes. And if not, and if you can only get 5 3/4, it's going to be just fine.
Okay.
So don't worry about that.
Just adjust it, make sure they're all the same size.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Then you are going to cut your strips into 31.5-inch lengths.
Okay.
Okay. Then you're going, this is kind of the tricky part, which when I first read, I was like, what on earth? But it works really great.
Okay.
It worked out slick. Just follow the pictures and check out Misty's tutorial. You'll be all great to go.
All right, perfect.
So we're going to fold the strip in half lengthwise here.
Okay. And did you just kind of finger press it?
Yeah, I finger pressed it to get nice and flat.
Okay.
Then you're going to go in 1.5 inches from the fold. Let me turn the ruler over right so you can see here.
There we go.
1.5 inches in from the fold. And you're going to cut down 12 inches.
Okay.
Okay. So again, let me flip that over.
And did you mark or anything, or did you
I didn't mark, I just eyeballed it.
Okay.
Well, I didn't eyeball it, I guess I followed
the ruler. Okay. So you just went from
I just
the 12
started
to the
at
top.
the 12.
Okay.
And cut that.
All right.
And I know this looks strange, everybody, but hold in there with me.
It works out.
Okay. And then I fold this flat. Then you need the bigger ruler, and you're going to take it down to the corner, about 1 inch up from the top, and you're going to make a slice here to make this angle.
Okay.
And there you go.
And that's the trickiest part,
That
right?
is the trickiest part.
Okay, let's show that one more time.
Alrighty. And she has in the directions, if you want, you can go ahead and stack these 3 high and do them all at once. And for the first couple, I did not.
Yeah.
But once you would do 1 or 2, then I stacked all 3 and they worked just fine.
You had no trouble.
Yes.
Okay.
This pattern is very forgiving. Hillary wrote it. It's a great pattern, and so it was the 3 saved a little bit of time when you stacked them 3 at a time. So.
That's always a good tip, because I think I would be like you. I'd be a little leery to stack them when you're dealing with folds and, you know, so many layers, but I'm glad to know it worked well for you.
It worked beautifully, yeah. Okay, so I have to make sure the ruler's right side up.
All those angles, right?
All those angles. All right, there's my 12.
There we go. So she measured 12. That's just the straight cut.
And then I'm going to go all the way up on the mat here. Get my longer ruler out.
There we go.
There you go.
And so then when you open those up, they kind of look like a broom.
They do.
Yeah, it's like a little wedge at the bottom. And so you're going to have 3 of these out of each fabric, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so we already cut the other one of these, and so this is our contrasting fabric that goes with it. And now you're looking at all these, and if you are like my brain, I would think, oh, we're going to have to flip these around to make them all line up. But that's not what we want with this apron. We actually want it to create, oops, hold on, let me try that again. But that's not what we want with this apron. We actually want it to create this skirt that you see here, and it flares out at the bottom. So we're going to keep all of the wide parts down, correct?
Correct.
And we're just going to alternate prints. So we're just going to put this in between and lay right sides together, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Do we need that?
I don't know.
No?
It's just extra.
Okay.
Yes, and this doesn't, to me, it didn't look like it was going to work sewing it, but you just follow the line down and it worked just fine.
And did you pin or anything like that?
I did not pin.
Okay.
I did not pin at all.
So then we're just going to start by lining up. Did you have any trouble with them lining up as you sewed, or?
At the bottom, sometimes maybe I was a little off once I got to the bottom.
Okay.
And once I got all of the other side done, I just evened it out with my scissors.
And had no trouble. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
So then we've got these right sides together, starting at the skinny side on this one, and we're just going to sew our usual 1/4 inch seam.
And you don't need to shorten your stitch or anything like that.
Well, I have it.
Okay.
So, all right, and you didn't do that on yours either?
I didn't shorten my stitch at all.
Okay.
That's good.
I usually have my stitch length right around a 2.5. So.
Okay.
And then when you get to this part where it starts to flare, it is so gentle. You can just tug your fabric a little bit. You don't even have to pivot or anything. So I just keep it on my 1/4 inch line. And we'll just keep this lined up as we go. There we go. There's that one. And now we need to add one more, right?
Yep.
All right, so for this one, I'll probably start from the wide side, since I like to have the bigger piece of fabric on the bottom. Same idea.
If you didn't have the bigger ruler, is there any trick to getting that flare cut?
If you didn't have the bigger ruler?
Mm-hmm. How would you aim for that lower corner?
I would probably mark it and
Okay.
cut it with scissors.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the easiest thing if you didn't have the long ruler. Measure down your 12 and, make a mark. You could probably cut that part even and then just use your shorter ruler and
Aim for the
Do it
corner.
a little bit at a time.
a little bit at a time, trying to aim
Okay.
as carefully as you can.
Thanks, guys.
Use a chalk pencil or something that'll rub off. All right.
And I love how your brain works, because I always think, oh, I have to sew top to the bottom.
Oh,
And
really?
you're just like, oh, I'll just sew it. And I thought, that is such a great idea.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
would have never thought of it.
I just
That's
don't
great.
like having the bulk on the top, so I like being
awesome.
able to see my small piece line up. So I
Yes,
think
that's a great
good
idea.
reminder, though, that everybody's brain works different.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And so then we have the other half of this front panel ready to go, right?
Yes.
So you can see we've got these 3 and these 3, and we're just going to lay these together just like before, and we can sew right down what will be the middle seam of our apron.
Very cool.
All right, so let's stitch this one up. Yeah, I think with projects like this, it's so handy to see them done, because when I look at this and I can tell there's angles on it, I immediately get just a little leery. I think all of us do if we're not super comfortable working with new shapes. So
I agree.
it's
Totally.
fun to see how quickly it really does. come together. It's a great little project. So that's one whole side, right?
That is one whole side.
And so then you would just repeat this with your other fabrics, because you have a half yard of each cut, remember? So 2 of them are the front, 2 of them are the back, and we have that one ready to go. Court, you've got all your little pieces here.
I do.
I don't want to lose those.
Oh, that's right.
Here we go. And you've gone ahead and made the straps.
Yes.
Okay, so so you can see this is just the reverse of this. These are such cute prints. And do you want to talk a little bit about this cute camper print? Because it's a directional print, right?
It is directional. So if you have a directional print that you'd like to use in your apron, go ahead and get a yard.
Okay.
Because then you can cut it going in the lengthwise direction, because it really was going to bother me if these campers were on there.
Yeah, I mean, it would be sad to have those darling little campers all sitting sideways instead of, they look so cute upright like this. I love that.
And so since it's a 31-inch cut, that's why you want to go ahead and get a yard, because that'll give you plenty of room to do that the wrong size.
Exactly.
Okay, just want to clear that. Awesome.
Then you don't have to worry about them being upside down or sideways.
Perfect. Okay.
That looks great. And then, so let's just cover the straps really quick on how to do that. They're just simple little tubes, but we can show you.
So on, these are the side straps, so it's just the width of fabric.
Okay. And is it 3 inches
3 inches
wide?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So we're going to sew these. You're going to fold it in half lengthwise. You're going to sew across the short end and then down one long end.
Okay.
And leave the other end open.
Okay.
Okay, and you're going to do that to 2 of those.
Okay, and that's for the side straps.
Yep.
And also this, and then why don't you talk about the next strap and how and what that measures?
So the short strap, and this is for the neck. The neck strap is 2.5 by 23.5 inches long. Okay. You are going to fold this in half as well, right sides together. But on this one, you're just going to sew. You don't need to sew across either end. You're just going to sew on the raw edges and then flip the tube right side out.
And is that, you're going to catch the ends in the
You'll catch the ends
seam,
when you
right?
sew your front and back of your paper.
That makes sense. All right.
And you got all your straps out of your contrast fabric?
Yes.
Sorry, yes, out of your accent fabric. And this is a really cute gingham.
Oh,
I love the gingham.
you can't go wrong with gingham, right? It's just so cute.
And since this is reversible, Misty, you're wearing a Christmas style, and we're making kind of an everyday style. You could actually put everyday on one side and Christmas on the other.
That's true. That would be adorable. Or different holidays on either side.
Could have a combo Halloween, Thanksgiving.
I love that.
You totally could.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, just make sure your straps and your ruffle coordinate.
Yeah, or something that will go with both. That is a wonderful idea. All right, I've got that one ready, and then you've got the other ones turned, don't you?
The other ones are all turned.
Okay.
And here comes the tricky part with turning these too. There are tools on the market as far as helping turn, but I go to my great old safety pin here.
Yep.
So I put the safety pin in here, and then it's tricky to start. You just kind of start working it down the tube.
Here, let's move it up here. Make sure they can see what you're doing.
And you just start working it down. Once you get it started, then it goes pretty quickly. But it's getting it started. Oh, there we go. We're getting it good now.
That's always the hardest part.
It is.
I usually use the end of a wooden spoon.
See, that helps. And that would probably go a little faster. But I didn't even think of the wooden spoon at work. I just had the...
Well, exactly. You don't necessarily have one at your sewing machine, but I actually keep an old one that's really cracked at the bottom that I no longer like to use for cooking, and so I just have it up in my sewing cabinet at home.
And there you go. And you just keep working at it till you get it all the way to the other end.
I've also seen where they'll do that and they like put a string through it. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, you could totally do that.
And you just pull the string. There's all kinds of turning tips. Maybe that should be a little segment that we cover.
That could be a side thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and the one trick with this is once you get done, the pin is still in the inside.
Oh.
So you have to open the pin, it's fine. I just open the pin and shut it inside and then fed it back out.
And it falls right out. That's awesome.
I was like, that's stuck in there now.
Now what? That's hilarious.
But I got it out. So, and I did it 4 times, so it worked.
Yeah, that's so good.
So it worked. So anyway.
Well, yeah, I think everybody gets the idea of that.
And then once you get it all folded, you want it pressed. Just press it nice and flat.
Great.
Okay, you've got your raw edges here.
Okay.
Then you're going to position them on your, well, let's do our ruffle.
Oh, that's right.
We forgot about that
we need
cute
that
little
too.
ruffle.
We do. We have this cute little ruffle at the top. Yep.
And do I totally want to say, and ruffles have ridges?
Yeah. I love it.
So your ruffle, you're going to sew.
And what does this piece measure?
That piece measures 2 by 13 inches.
Okay.
Okay. So on this case, you're going to put them wrong sides together.
Okay.
And you're going to lengthen your stitch at this point, and you want to make sure you have a tail start with a tail on your bottom thread.
Let me see.
And your top.
If I can get a hold of that. Might just re-thread it to make sure, because I did use my scissor cut.
And I did on mine as well, and it did work, but it kind of wants to come and thread it.
Yeah, it makes it trickier, that's for sure. So let's pull up that bobbin. There we go. My nails are getting too long. I can't get a hold of it. That's all right. I think we'll hopefully be okay with the long top one. Okay, and so what did you lengthen your stitch to?
I lengthened mine to about almost a 5.
Okay, I will do it all the way up to a 5.
And you're going to start a little bit on the fold side.
Okay.
Curve it, come down your raw edge, and come back up and curve again.
Okay, so you are going to enclose your ends.
Yep.
With the curve. Okay.
Yep.
And did you? Well, no, you didn't backstitch because you have to tug it, right? Okay.
Right. Yep. No backstitching.
Okay. So nice big stitch. We're gonna. Oops. I'm gonna do that again.
Okay.
I didn't pivot fast enough.
It's all right.
Those big stitches are much bigger than I'm used to. All right, so we're gonna.
Do you need a tail again? I'm sorry.
I have it.
You got it. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, now I have both tails, so
Sweet.
it actually is kind of better.
Okay.
All right, so like Courtney said, we've got those nice big stitches, and we're just going to slowly curve towards the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and pivot there, and then we can go all the way down this side.
And that long stitch moves fast, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. Woo! Sometimes I'm a speed demon, you guys. All right, and then I'm just going to pivot a little bit again on this other side to make sure we can get all the way to the edge. There we go. I didn't keep tails on this cord, so we're going to have to be careful on this side. Okay. So there we go. I'll let you.
Alrighty. So then you start gathering it, and at this point, we'll just gather a little bit because we're going to have to make it fit in between the straps anyway, so we'll have adjusting to do later.
Okay.
So just kind of want to pull real gentle on the thread. Just kind of work it.
Are you pulling both threads or just one thread?
I'm just pulling on the. Actually, I'm really not pulling on the thread. I'm holding the thread and pulling on the.
Okay.
And pulling it against to make the ruffle. So
awesome.
I'm not really pulling on it too much. And then I have the bottom thread there, and I'm just kind of holding it and pushing the ruffle.
Okay.
Just to let it gather. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that's a good tip, is to really not tug too hard on the thread because you don't want it to break. So you want to hold it taut and then kind of slide that fabric gently along it.
That works way better than the way I've done it before, just saying.
And on this small of a gather, I've done where you can zigzag over heavier threads or something this small. You really don't need to do that because we don't have much to work with here, so it's just fine. So here's our ruffle. And then we're almost ready to sew all of our straps in and our ruffle on, but first we need to trim up the sides of the apron up top to get it more angular.
Okay, let's do that.
So we're going to lay this down. And I'm going to look at the directions once more.
Always better to triple check, right?
That's right.
Okay. So to do the apron side, you need to come in 2 inches from the top, and you're going to come off of the apron 12 inches down.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to angle this. So I'm going to lay my ruler here at the 2 inches in. I have my fabric lined up there. I'm going to go 2 inches in.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put my ruler, this behaves a little bit, on the 12 inches down here.
Okay, I see. So you're cutting off this little corner
I'm cutting off that wedge.
To make the top a little bit more narrow so it fits nicely to your body.
Correct.
That makes sense. Perfect.
So there you have that. Now we have to do the other side. So again, I'm going to come in 2 inches from my edge, up on the top there, and come down 12 inches so it hits that side of my apron.
It's a great way to show that you can use either your ruler or the mat for that.
Correct, yep.
Perfect.
And now it's ready to attach. Now we do that to the front and the back, and now they're ready to attach our straps.
Okay, awesome.
All right. So our straps here, the short strap is the neck strap. Mm-hmm. And you come in 1/4 of an inch from the end of your apron. And I put the seam in there. See, this is what you don't want to do. You want to make sure that you're all in the same direction, because you don't want your neck strap to tangle or to curve or to twist. So I'm going to lay that nice, and now you know that it goes
you've got
all in a circle.
The seam all the way on the inside.
Yep, the seam is all the way on the inside. So I know it's nice and flat.
Great.
Then the side straps are 12 inches down from the top.
Okay.
So I have those with the raw edges even. And again, I've got the seam on the bottom, facing the bottom of the apron.
Okay. And that's right where you guys had.
And now we're ready to put our little ruffle on here. So.
This is where you're going to adjust it to fit right in there.
Right.
Do you need some pins?
I will need some pins.
Here we go. We've got some here
glasses.
too. Pins and glasses.
Pins and glasses.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Yeah, that's right.
And on here, you kind of want the raw edge. You want it to catch the raw edge of your ruffle.
Okay.
So you kind of want to fold it around there. That's going to hang off, and that's fine.
Into the seam.
Into the seam, yes. But you really want to make sure you catch that raw edge at the top.
Okay.
And you're just going to adjust this across and adjust it coming up the other side so that ruffle fits right in that spot.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got some pins here if that'll help.
So this will be slightly finagly, but...
Yeah, it just takes some maneuvering.
But it's not hard, it's just deciding how you want your ruffle to fit. I super love how the ruffle adds that little extra detail.
I love the ruffle.
It's a great little detail.
I don't do ruffles much. I don't have ruffles, but it was really fun using them on this project. I really did.
Well, and it's not too much. It's just pretty subtle, which is nice.
Well, and I will tell you too, the other thing that I noticed with when the size of the ruffle, it was that thin, and I thought, are you sure that's not a lot of ruffle? But you don't need a lot of ruffle. No, it was perfect.
It's so great.
So yeah, it was a great pattern. Alrighty. Let's make sure that's pinned.
Don't want to have to fight with it later.
And I'm pinning it now, and then we're also gonna, when you put the right sides together, I take these out and repin it.
Okay.
Of course. Okay, so now it's right sides together with your front and your back.
Okay.
And you leave a place open anywhere you want. I left about 6 inches open on the one side seam.
Okay. So let's do it.
All right.
So maybe let's show how you move your pins when you have the multiple layers.
Okay. We can do that.
So they can see.
And guys, I'm excited for you to show us your aprons, your Flower Flirt aprons. Remember, you can use hashtag MSQC show and tell to show us the projects you're working on. Would love to see what you do, what fabrics you choose. Remember, you take 4 fabrics. You can mix and match all kinds of things. I can't wait to see what you do.
I know. I'm excited to see the half everyday, half holiday versions.
Right?
I think that's a really fun idea.
I think that's a great idea.
I think that will make a great gift. I love giving kitchen-y things as sort of wedding gifts.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of fun to say, like, here's something you can have for every day and holiday, and this is going to be a really fun project to work on.
Well, and aprons are so useful.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody needs one.
Right?
So.
They are practical.
Whether you're grilling or cooking in the kitchen, they're useful.
Oh, grilling. I bet you could find some really fun stuff. You might leave off the ruffle.
Yeah, maybe.
But you could actually totally have a very, like, hamburger and hot dog ruffle.
Yeah, totally.
That's fine.
I have quite a few girlfriends that are, like, grill masters. They're so good.
Yeah.
And I am not a great griller, but not yet in my life. Haven't learned that skill, but I think, maybe you need a roughly grilling apron.
Maybe you do. Show us your roughly grilling aprons.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I would pin going down. This I would pin.
Okay.
Or I have pinned.
Just to help keep everything lined up, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a good reminder that no matter how long we've been sewing, sometimes there's a project that you just really need to pin. It just helps with the overall outcome.
Yep.
I like to deny pins as much as possible, but they are so useful. And usually once I give in and use them, I'm so glad I did. Like, why did I fight this so long?
That was me and pressing.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. I didn't used to press things, and then I finally started doing that step, and I was like, why? Why did I skip
why
this
did
step?
I put this off? I know, it's so silly. All right.
So this is a good question. As we're getting down here to the bottom, Courtney, did you have to worry about matching up seams along the bottom, or did you just make sure it kind of fit?
I did not worry about that.
Awesome.
Okay. That's good.
I love it. Less things to worry about.
You totally could.
Okay.
But you just kind of made sure it's all laying nice and flat, right?
Nice and flat, yeah.
Excellent.
And did you sew all the way around?
I sewed all the way around.
Okay.
Yep. And here you can see this, for whatever reason, this side's shorter. Before I started sewing, I'll trim that so they're even.
Okay.
Makes no difference.
Just a quirk of how it comes together.
Well, and probably what I would do, I would go ahead and pin, like you're doing, both these sides, and I would maybe even wait to trim until after I sewed and just use my top fabric as my...
Yes, and use that as your guide.
As my guide.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, do that. Yep.
Okay.
Use the shorter one as your guide.
Because if I got to this point, I wouldn't want to take it apart to try and trim it.
That's a great idea.
So Misty, do you have to turn, now that you have your ruffles done, do you have to turn your stitch length back?
Yes, good catch, Liz.
Okay.
We would have regrets with those big stitches for our seams.
I
Those
think
would just
I
pull
did
right apart. See? That's why you need
I didn't have a Liz in my studio when I was doing it. I was on my own.
Is dream sewing.
Team sewing is dream sewing.
So start there.
Okay.
Oh wait, but you want to go the other direction.
Yeah.
You want to use the smaller one, so.
And zoom around. Okay. Yep. Got it.
All right, and we're off.
Leave your hole wherever you want.
Okay. We are just going to zoom around the side and take our pins out as we go.
Okay.
And you could also leave the hole at the bottom.
That's true.
But it's on a curve. So that's why I did not leave a hole at the bottom.
Oh, and opted for the side.
I opted for the side because it was straight.
That makes sense.
Good tip, good tip.
This would be cute with a set of matching pot holders.
Oh, yes. That's a great idea. Okay, we're getting up to the top, so I'm going to leave my needle down. And we're going to pivot here. I'm just going to take my pins out as I go, so I don't have my ruffle slip on me.
Right.
And all of our layers stay where we want them. Because we are working with a few more layers up here, you just kind of want to take your time. Don't force it through. Never want to sew over a pin. Okay, we're on this other side, so remember, needle down and pivot.
Fabulous.
All right, so we've got across the top. We're going to stop with our needle down again. We're going to go ahead and pivot, move the bulk of our fabric this way so we can sew down this other side seam. I am going to check here. I could feel the neck strap was getting too close to that side seam, so I'm just going to go ahead and tuck that out of the way because we don't want to catch that in the side, only on the top. And now that I've got that, we're just going to zoom down this side. One thing I forgot to mention on the other side, when you get to where your side straps are or even your top straps, you can go ahead and back stitch over that area just to give it a little bit of extra strength. So I'll do that here. And then we'll just keep on stitching around and we'll meet you back when we are done.
Okay.
Okay, we have made it all the way around. Now remember, we left a nice size opening here to turn this out, but we are going to go ahead and trim off our excess off the bottom here. You can see I used the shorter side as my my guide fabric for that 1/4 inch seam, and then Courtney's just going to carefully trim off the rest of our bulk.
And this might have come up because I cut part of it on Friday and part of it today.
Yeah, you never know.
So maybe my pieces are...
You never know. And
but like it doesn't make any difference.
And sometimes just even different prints in the same collection are just a little bit longer or shorter or have a little bit more stretch to them. And so these are things that we can just totally adapt and roll with. It's nothing to stress about.
Right.
So we've got that all done. We can flip it in.
Do you want to...
You can do it. You can do the honors, yeah.
Presto change it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and you can use the neck strap to help you turn it.
Exactly. Gives you something to grab a hold of there.
All right. And then you want to poke out your corners.
we go.
The ruffle looks so cute.
Look at that cute little ruffle.
So cute. It looks so good.
There's a random more strings, but it's perfect.
That's all right. We can trim strings.
We can trim strings just
yeah. Absolutely. There we go.
Strap got caught in there.
Awesome.
And then just go through and press all this nice and flat.
Okay.
And then you'll turn these in on itself and hand stitch them closed.
Okay.
Now there's no direction about, you could go through and top stitch this all down, and then you can catch this with your
sewing machine if you went all the way around the edge.
But I hand stitched that.
Yeah, and it looks really nice. You can't see it anywhere. Beautiful hidden stitches.
Yeah.
But I like to top stitch, so I probably would go ahead and top stitch around the edge.
A little finish. Oh, you could do a decorative stitch. Wouldn't that be cute?
It would be really cute, and it would also give that extra stability to your straps if you went through and top stitched it.
Sure would.
I think that's a great option if you don't want to hand sew, because some of us don't like to hand sew. We can avoid it. Well, Court, thank you so much for joining me, and Hillary, my darling sister-in-law, thank you so much for designing such a wonderful, cute pattern. Like we said, these are great for every day, great for holiday, and great for gifts. So we hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you next time. Have a great week.
See ya.
Something big is coming. Maker's Black Friday. Handmade gifts make the holidays incredibly special. But waiting for traditional Black Friday deals leaves you scrambling to make at the last minute. So this year, shop early and make sure you can check everyone off your holiday list. Join us this Friday, July 16th for Maker's Black Friday, our biggest sale of the year. Project ideas, freebies, and unbelievable deals on all the things you need to get started on your holiday gifts. Whatever your creative passion, quilting, sewing, knitting and crochet, or painting, we've got everything you need to get a jump start on the holidays. You don't want to miss this. See you Friday.